So, you know, what we're doing here is trying to figure out ways to sample these slugs and predict whether or not they're going to be a problem in our crops. And of course, that's why we're doing this. These slugs can be a pretty significant pest in a lot of our field crops, and we had some pretty big problems last year. Had to replant, I don't know, maybe 20,000 acres of soybean that were fed on by slugs. And this was not just a Tennessee problem. There were reports in Kentucky and Illinois. In fact, I'm on a big grant right now we're trying to submit to look at slug management with people from Illinois and Kentucky. What they do, these slugs, they're plant feeders, and they feed on the crop as it emerges. And if they're bad enough, and particularly when the weather's cool and wet, they can actually cut the plants off, kind of like a cutworm might do, and then you end up with a reduced plant stand or no plants. And of course, slugs like wet, cool weather. We've had a wet, cool spring, so it's kind of setting up to be a slug year. And the other thing that goes along with wet, cool springs is slow seedling emergence. And when those plants are slow to come out of the ground, that gives slugs more of an opportunity to feed. Back up just a little bit, slugs are really just a problem where you have residue in the field. If you're doing any kind of tillage or cultivation, they're not going to be there. They're going to be where there's green food and residue for them to hide. During the day they hide. When it gets hot and sunny, they're underground. Really the best treatment for slugs is hot, dry days. Unfortunately, we don't always get that in the springtime.
That's a good spot.
And I got two right off the bat. Yeah, we're just doing some sampling here for slugs, and we're using these square foots to kind of standardize the area we're counting, and we're doing 4 of these at each place we put a treatment out. The treatments we put out are granular baits. We actually put out a couple of different granular baits. One of them's called Deadline and the other one's called Sluggo, and we just did 2 rates of each one, and really we're trying to see how efficacious these slug baits are at controlling slugs. And I wanted to see if we put lower rates out, these half rates out, kind of proactively like we've done here before the crop is planted, whether that might work, because these baits are pretty expensive. But we really don't have a good idea how to sample these things. You know, there's a bunch of different methods. Sometimes you just put out a can full of beer to sample for them. You can just visually look for them. This is a treated plot, so I'm not finding any, which I think is a good start, because the one we just counted had quite a few slugs in there when we looked. But they're up here feeding on this vegetation, but they'll hide under the debris. We've got a really nice, moist, cloudy morning, so this is a perfect time to look for slugs. When it's hot and sunny out, they'll get up under that debris and they become very hard to find. The 2 different products that are available for slug control, one we're using is called Deadline. It contains an active ingredient called metaldehyde. The other one's called Sluggo, and it's actually iron phosphate. Just quick look right here, it kind of looks like the Deadline's doing a little bit better, but that's one of the reasons we're doing this. We actually have another location we're doing a similar test. The next step is to probably put out some demos in fields where we have slug issues occurring in soybeans, corn, or cotton on a larger scale, and see how well we can control these things with this bait. It's a little challenge with these baits because you're spreading 5-10 pounds of product on an acre, on a large field, and you got to figure out a way to do that, because you can't just slop it out there. It's pretty expensive. The 10-pound rates for these products, which are the standard rates, are something like $20 an acre, so it gets pretty expensive pretty quickly.